You're watching Venture Forward, a video series about vehicle-supported adventure, backcountry exploration, and full-time mobile living. Join us as we discover scenic and interesting places both on and off the beaten path. It's late August 2022, and we're in coastal Maine. I'm on a short hike to the coast right now, near the village of Round Pond. I'm not doing anything too strenuous. My foot is still injured. Just over 5 weeks ago, I fractured my 5th metatarsal on a short hike much like this one. I'm wearing normal shoes a little bit more, but I don't have that much stability, especially in uneven terrain. So for this walk, I've got my orthopedic boot back on. This clunky old boot is much more comfortable and I can move a lot faster in it than I can in my shoes. Coastal Maine, so incredibly atmospheric and beautiful. Shannon and I came here on a whim because, well, last year we were up in Washington on the Pacific coast, so this year we thought it'd be appropriate to visit the Atlantic coast. Just behind the camera, there's a sailboat that's moored, an island across the way that's misty and shrouded by clouds. Coastal Maine isn't backcountry. It's well developed and mostly private land, except for the occasional park, beach, or nature preserve like where I'm at now. But the seafood, the small towns, dramatic ambiance, and the jagged coastline are all just spectacular. As I mentioned in my last episode, last week I put the camera down to spend time with my son Cole. We flew Cole up into Burlington, Vermont, where we stayed at a campground on Lake Champlain. And Cole and I usually do exploring and go on adventures together, but due to my injury, this past week was sort of subdued. We hung out around the lake a lot, and Shannon, Cole, and I really got to know the Burlington area in northern Vermont.
Boot parkour. Oh, Chris. You don't have to show off for me anymore, you know that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Poor Shannon.
Gross. I'm not happy. I'm happy with this, though. How's that NA IPA?
What's that? Non-alcoholic beer.
Look at that. That lobster roll looks pretty legit.
That looks good. This looks good. That looks good.
Yeah, it all looks great. Lobster roll, truffle fries, lake perch tacos, and some kind of cheesesteak.
Vermont cheesesteak.
Vermont cheesesteak. And a beautiful view.
This is bound to be a short episode. Despite being on the Maine coast, Shannon and I have been using this time to do a lot of maintenance and to figure out our next moves. So what we have planned is to divide and conquer for a few weeks. Unfortunately, Shannon's work is restricting her from going into Canada and working remotely. And we don't understand why, but they're the boss and we can't really argue with that. Anyway, we're going to make the best of the hand we were dealt. My broken foot is healed enough. RNG, my Jeep, is in great shape. There's a pop coming from the front end, but I don't think it's critical. So she's going to spend a little bit more time enjoying the Maine coast. She's going to get together with some friends, and she's going to continue working out of the van. And then next week I plan to start driving north into Quebec while the weather is still decent, and then maybe in 3 or 4 weeks we'll intercept each other back in Michigan. That's my general trajectory into and out of northern Quebec, and it's also the extent of the route planning that I usually do. Venture Forward is all, or mostly, about exploration, so it's not so much the known destinations that I'm targeting, it's the unknown. Over the last couple days I've been using GAIA GPS to download large chunks of the Backroad Mapbooks Canada base map for most of Quebec. Backroad Mapbooks Canada is detailed but also a very heavy raster base map for much of Canada that shows a lot of the minor roads and public spaces. Over the past few days using Starlink, I have been downloading tiles in a grid-like system to kind of collect as much data as I can. Sort of like this. This tile is right off of James Bay. So we'll click Save. Next. And I've been using a very simple naming convention just for the sake of speed. QM3. Where Q is Quebec, M is the row, and 3 is the number of tiles in from the right. Save. You can see how slowly the Backroad Mapbooks Canada layer downloads, while the GAIA Topo layer is much lighter and much faster. It's already at 70%. But right now I'm downloading the map data using Starlink, and that is an unlimited data plan, so I can just use it and abuse it. This iPad is cellular enabled, so if there are any cell towers up here, then I don't need to worry so much about the offline data. But since I don't know what the connectivity is going to be like, better safe than sorry and download as many maps as possible before the trip. Well, at the very least, this front U-joint is worn and needs to be replaced. Okay. This might take a while with hand tools. The CV joint at the transfer case feels pretty smooth. I think that's okay. The single U joint at the front differential is pretty loose, pretty sloppy. I have to admit it's not quite as bad as I thought, but it is a little bit rough, so I'm going to replace it anyway. I'm trying to get to the bottom of that front end popping noise that I heard so much 2 weeks ago in Vermont that's coming from the front of the Jeep. So today I'm taking a closer look at the front drive shaft, and I think I can detect just a little bit of slop in the front U-joint. Sure enough, that front U-joint is starting to feel a little bit worn, but it's not as bad as I expected, and unfortunately it's not the cause of the problem. You'd think it'd be easy to find given how loud the noise is, but I've had it to 2 shops and neither were able to pinpoint the source of the pop. It's still an open issue, so your ideas are welcome and greatly appreciated. I've spent so much time and money this year rejuvenating RNG, but there are still some parts that have 200,000 miles on them. You might recall well over a month ago I had this custom aluminum shelf installed by Rin at OK 4-Wheel Drive, but this side bracket was formed incorrectly. Well, I got a replacement. I actually got this replacement bracket a long time ago. I just haven't had the opportunity to swap it out. And it basically better lines up with the bolt holes and what's on here now, and it levels off the shelf a little bit, which has a downward skew toward the passenger side. I'm going to take a moment to swap this out. That comes out. You can see they're formed opposite, and that was the problem. The shelf looks great. It's nice and even. Now I'm just loading the Jeep back up again. This is my pack raft. It can go right there.
Yeah, I love you.
Hey, friend. We spent last week with my son Cole at Champlain Adult Campground in Grand Isle, Vermont, right on the shore of Lake Champlain. It's a beautiful, well-kept campground catering to older guests and a wonderful place to settle in for the week.
Just like eat them off the stick.
It's almost perfectly golden. Look at that one. Cole?
Oh. How is it? Mini tastes good?
The mini marshmallows didn't work so well. They were decidedly lame. So the next day, Cole and I picked up some proper marshmallows, and that night, we enjoyed some amazing s'mores. Chips ahoy! Lake Champlain was pretty choppy for most of the week, but we did find a few opportunities to put the pack raft in to go for an enjoyable float. Whenever you see a waypoint drop down from the top of the screen like this one for Snow Farm Vineyard, that means you can find more information about this place in my shop on the Thatch travel app. I'll put a link to Thatch in the description for this video. At the Vineyard, we enjoyed live music from the band Pen Hits. And what episode of Venture Forward is complete without a gourmet grilled cheese? And this particular sandwich was Cole's concoction, and it was delicious. Pesto, slap your mama. Can you flash a slap your mama? Yes, slap your mama. What do you think?
Perfect.
Kraft singles, and what was the other cheese?
I have no idea.
Okay, 2 types of cheeses, pesto, slap your mama, sourdough bread. This grilled cheese is a melty, flavored explosion. Look at that. This week we're at Pemaquid Point Campground in Bristol, Maine. It's a very nice privately owned campground just a few miles from Pemaquid Point itself and the lighthouse. And there's a gravel loop with pull-offs for RVs, tent campers, and pull-behinds. And each site has fire rings, picnic tables. A lot of the sites have RV hookups, and there are private showers, which I just enjoyed for the first time since Vermont. We drove out here from Burlington, Vermont. What day was it, Shannon? Was it Sunday?
On Sunday.
On Sunday, and it was about a 5-hour drive. So by the time we got here on Sunday night, we were famished. We went straight to Pemaquid Seafood, which is just 5 miles up the peninsula. The place seemed like a best-kept secret because it was well out of the way, and to get there you had to turn down what appeared to be a discreet private driveway, but it was actually the road to the restaurant. And there we enjoyed lobster and just had a definitive Maine dining experience.
You happy?
Yeah, we're happy. We're at Pemaquid Seafood in
Pemaquid? Maine?
Point.
Pemaquid Point looks like the closest. Yes, perfect. Oh, looks so good. Thank you.
Pretty phones.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Sun poking through here and there. And the ocean is right through there. Tell me about this hole again.
It's unexplained geologic attract. It's what makes. I read on the website that this is weird.
I told him not to come down, but he's still coming down. Something that requires a rope.
It's cool. See. Easy peasy.
Good job. We ended up here. And it's just simple. Like this is not a well-known spot or anything. It's just kind of a local spot.
It's a rainy night. Some storms just passed through here and I had to wait for the weather to calm down to do my recording. So Venture Forward episodes are numbered, with a naming convention starting with V, number, and then episode number. I don't know what the V means, it can really be anything you want, but I think it used to stand for vlog. Vlog 1, Vlog 2, Vlog 3. Really it's just a chapter, and I change that chapter whenever there's a new goal in mind. So V17, the current chapter, literally got off on the wrong foot, and what we hoped would be some sort of grand adventure across the country or into the Northeast turned out to be me recovering from a broken foot. I'm going to start a new chapter next week, V18, that encompasses my journey through Quebec at the very least. Start anew on the right foot without breaking things, either my body or the Jeep, and get back into the field, discover new places, and record some tracks. After all the work that I had done on RNG this past year wasn't for nothing. So I'm going to call that a wrap for the week. And just as a reminder, my detailed GPS data is available to Patreon subscribers, and points of interest are available on the Thatch app for iOS and Android. I'm going to spend this coming weekend here in Maine with Shannon. We have reservations to go on a schooner tour, and then next week I'll be in motion, and I'll catch up with you guys again then. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.